Hello everybody, and welcome to my auction for my 1996 Acura 2.5 TL. I'm going to do a walk around here in broad daylight just to demonstrate or illustrate the flaws that this car has in the best lighting possible. It just turned 25 years old. This car was manufactured December of 1995, so I put Arizona historic license plates on it just a few weeks ago. Kind of a badge of honor. Apologize for the background noise. There's an airplane flying overhead. Anyway, this is a base model car, so it's kind of a rare configuration spec. It does have a flat top with no sunroof. It's a cloth interior. I'm trying to remember everything else that this car deletes. Some of the wood grain trim that the premium model would have had, for example, on the power window switches and things like that. But I'll get to the interior in just a minute. I want to do a little walk around in detail on the outside first, just to give you a sense of what the car looks like from this perspective. I bought this car in 2020 from an individual who'd owned it for about 15 years. It was sort of a placeholder car for me. I wanted to complete the entire 1990s Acura collection to recreate a commercial from back in the day, and I did that thanks to this car and a couple others that I added. So I'll do a walk around here and show you. The clear coat on the top panels has some areas that are kind of peeling off. You can get a sense here where the base coat's intact but the clear is missing, so it's most pronounced there on the trunk lid. There's also similar areas here on the roof. This car spent the majority of its life in the Pacific Northwest, where the sun isn't too brutal, which is, I think, why it survived so well in terms of like the dashboard not being cracked or anything like that. There's no rust on the underbody. I have a variety of videos on this car on my channel where I actually go through and do some detailing in the wheel wells, and you can see just how nice condition it is. The front end, I do believe the hood, I'm certain that the hood has been painted. There's a little bit of evidence of body work here on the front right, just above the passenger side headlight, where it's cracking a little bit here. I've touched it up with some garnet red touch-up paint, which I'm including. I had the front bumper and rear bumper both refinished, so they're in really nice shape. Interesting to note, the 2.5 liter TL has a little bit different front clip than the 3.2. This shares a inline 5-cylinder with the Acura Vigor, 176 horsepower, sort of a really unique drivetrain. It's a car that was discontinued after the 1998 model year when they brought out the second generation TL. So here's the passenger side. There's a couple little scratches here. The pinstripe is sort of fading a little bit. I believe it used to have 2 stripes, and now it's just down to a black stripe here. There's a touch-up spot here on the passenger door. Evidence of some probably garage or driveway damage here on the side molding. Scratch here on the passenger front fender. Some clear coat issues here. I polished the headlights at one point. They probably need a better job done than I could do, so they're not in great condition. These are the 15-inch wheels that came with the 2.5. These are tires from 2012, so they are, I guess, 9-year-old tires now. Still quite a bit of tread on those Firestones, though. I'll probably switch the car around and then now show you the driver's side in the same sunlight, just so I can be as absolutely transparent as possible on the condition. And here we go now with the driver's side of my 96 TL. Same thing going on with some of the peeling or fading of the pinstripe. This side of the body is in pretty good shape. I don't really have much to mention here. Some scratching here, consistent with age and miles. There's a little piece scratch there. Oh, I did want to mention too that the windows, because of either something in the track or maybe being a little bit out of alignment. When you put it all the way down, it does tend to scratch something here. So I asked my Honda mechanic about it, and he said it would probably require taking the whole panel off and kind of probably putting more effort and time into it than it needs. I don't really have to lower the windows all that much. So this car does have the factory spoiler. This has an integrated LED brake light here in the back. So when I had the car tinted, we put window tint over the now non-functioning third brake light in the rear glass. Car has mud guards all the way around from the factory. The lower plastic rocker panels are faded a little bit, but would probably clean up a bit with some of the available rubber and vinyl treatments that are out there. And there's the motor. So as I mentioned, pretty rare configuration. It's a longitudinally mounted 2.5 liter. I do have an extra badge because the plastic, aka wannabe chrome, kind of peels off there, so I have a good replacement for that I just haven't put on. But this car has 263,000 miles on it, and it runs and drives awesome. It's the 4-speed automatic, which was the only transmission available on this generation of TL. There was no stick shift, unlike with the Vigor. And recent maintenance is pretty much all the main larger service items. I had the timing belt and water pump changed. The complete air conditioning system in this car has been overhauled. It does also have a brand new OEM Honda battery tucked in back here. Kind of an interesting design here with the heat shield that they put here on the passenger side next to the firewall. But that is an inline 5. We'll jump inside now. This car has frameless windows, so you can see there's no pillar or surround on the glass. These are 20% tinted from Suntech. I did that last summer. Everything has been completely gone through on the interior in terms of cleaning and prep. There's a little bit of damage here on the driver door panel that you can see. Unlike the premium model TL, this has obviously the cloth door panel trim that matches the seats. And one thing about cloth interior is that it holds up really well. You can see a little bit of separation here with the piping on the driver's side bolster, but I always thought that the design on those seats was kind of cool. Right off the bat, you'll notice that there's some wood trim in here that the car didn't originally have. This is a special edition custom one-off steering wheel from Craft Customs in Dallas, Texas. It was over 500 bucks just for that upgrade. And I thought it would be a kind of a cool way to set this car apart from some of its first-gen TL siblings. Here's the back. This door panel's in nice shape. I added a set of the factory floor mats all the way around, front and rear. This car has a factory ski pass-through here that's lockable. Scoot around to the passenger side. Not much else to talk about here. In really good condition. And last but not least, here's the view from the passenger side front. The other thing I added was an upgraded shift knob here with the A emblem on it. I think this is pretty common for a little bit of delamination on the gated console for the 4-speed automatic. I believe this to be from what may have been an old school alarm system. I don't really know anything about it other than I think there's a hole drilled into the wood trim panel here, so I didn't really want to dig into it too far. The dash is in really nice shape. The center console armrest is upholstered in the same fabric as the seats. There's a kind of a shallower tray here, and then you hit the second one and it opens up to a deeper compartment there. 2 cup holders here. This also pulls out if you want to clean in there. And the glove box, nothing really exciting in there. The manual and everything is in the house, but I do have all of the factory issued documentation that would have come with the car when it was new. Hey guys, I'm working with my new GoPro and head mount, so we're gonna go for a cruise in the TL. We'll go out on the freeway real quick just to give you a driving feel here, and we'll see how you like it. I guess that's pretty much it. I have a couple keys. I had extra keys made with the factory blank, so that's all proper. We'll fire it up and go for a quick drive, and then maybe call it good. Fires right up. This has the factory AM, FM, CD, and cassette head unit, which was kind of a thing back then. And I don't remember checking if the CD function works. I don't think CD works, but I know that the tape deck works because I've used an adapter there. The air conditioning is great. The blower motor is brand new. The only thing on, once we get rolling, it'll illuminate, but there's going to be an ABS light here. Let me throw my seatbelt on, and we'll go for a little cruise. Oh yeah, the D4 light. So we stop again. D3, you'll see it has a green ring, but the D4 light is burned out. So as long as you can see where your shift lever is placed, I didn't really think it was a big enough deal to justify tearing the cluster apart to figure out why that's not lining up. One thing I love about this car though, and the Vigor is the same way, it's just torque for days. Like right off the line, this thing has a really good sound to it. It gets up off the line really solidly. And the transmission is actually quite a bit smoother than like the Legend 4-speed was. That was notoriously sort of rough on the shifts. This thing goes through the gears pretty smoothly. Forgot to show you guys the trunk. So because the spoiler was added here, the trunk is a little bit heavier, so you just got to be careful. But once you get it up, as long as you don't really bump it, you know, to come down on your head or anything, it'll hold itself there just fine. So everything in here is really in good condition. There's a couple extra parts here. At one point I thought about upgrading all of the wood trim on the interior to burl wood, so that's an option if you want to, or probably not burl wood, it's probably plastic. Extra climate control I got just for troubleshooting, but didn't end up needing it. That's the original cup holder cover. That was just plastic before I upgraded it. And then there is a temporary or donut spare tire back here in the regular spot that I just checked the inflation on. Everything there is good. And yeah, that's ready to go. And it's been a really fun car. I'm getting ready to buy a new TLX and enjoyed having this thing for a while and reliving some of my younger years. My mom had a 97 3.2 TL a couple decades ago, and so having this car and driving it sort of brought back some of those memories, and will always kind of hold a special place. But I hope it goes to a good home, and appreciate you guys checking it out. Just to add to the auction listing here, so feel free to check out the extensive gallery online where I've included a bunch of pictures of things, but just so it makes its way into the video as well, I'll show some of this stuff. I'm including the replica window sticker, several copies of it, 4 brochures. So there's 2 for 96. There were 2 different versions for 96 that I'm including, as well as 97, 98. An extra nice copy of the 20 valve motor engine badge, because the one in the car right now has that flaking going on. 2 extra keys in addition to the one that I'm using currently. The bottle of touch-up paint. This is the factory owner's manual with a bunch of booklets inside it. And then obviously the maintenance records binder with a bunch of copies of promotional articles and things, documentation from really throughout my ownership and throughout my cosmetic and mechanical restoration of the car. So hopefully that is of value to the future owner. And thanks again for taking a look at the auction.